Welcome to Beyond Energetics, the podcast where we explore the unseen forces that shape our lives. I'm Sarah, and together we'll journey into the depths of energy, intuition, and transformation. In each episode, we'll uncover how subtle energies influence our daily experiences, delve into practices that enhance our intuitive abilities, and discuss how aligning with these forces can lead to profound personal growth and health. Whether you're new to the world of energy or looking to deepen your understanding, this space is for you. So settle in, open your mind, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond Energetics. My name's Sarah and I'm so excited you are here. We are cleaning out and clearing out the end of year 2025 as we move into the new year in a few days. And let's talk about what we have moved through this past year energetically, astrologically, and even in Chinese tradition, as well as what's to come. So what does it mean astrologically going into 2026? What is coming forward for us here? So let's dive in, get comfy cozy, grab your tea, put those headphones on, and let's really explore the energy of 2026 and what 2025 has really taught us. So as we move into the final stretch of the year, we're closing one cycle and we're quietly opening another. There's this invitation that is happening right now that you might have been feeling. It's really kind of bubbling up from beneath the surface. And as I work more with energetics, I really have noticed that the weather begins to mirror what's going on energetically. So right now I'm sitting in my living room and we have a complete blizzard happening around us. Everything is spinning and blowing away. There's this huge clearing out sensation and we're being forced to settle in and sit with those things that have come through over the last year. We're being forced to kind of hibernate into this reality that's been created for ourselves. And as those winds pass through, it's going to cause a settling of the snow, of the wind. And it's like we're walking out in perfect precision out of this blizzard and into the new year. And that's very much what this past year has felt like I know for myself and many people that I talk to. This past year has been a shedding, and this new year is going to be like walking through a door into this new reality, which we've curated over a very substantial amount of time for ourselves in both micro and macro ways. So as we do move into this new chapter, there's this invitation beneath the surface to really find ease, right? Not to rush, not to reinvent, not to force clarity, but just pause long enough to notice what we're still carrying, right? Being in the blizzard right now, I'm being forced to sit, to not rush, not to reinvent, just be in my day to day, to pause long enough to notice what's here. As we move into this conversation today, I really want to be clear about the intention of this conversation. It's not about starting a new diet or exercise program. It's not about fixing yourself in any way. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to be healed. It's about really preparing yourself for the future version of you. That version that's already in existence is just beginning to emerge and take shape in and around you. So today is about clearing out energy gently, honestly, and really authentically. So this next cycle can actually meet you right where you are without you having to change. Now, because most of us aren't starting fresh, we're still carrying unfinished conversations, old nervous system patterns, identities we've outgrown, and energetic residue from years and years and years ago. I really want to be mindful that as we move into this conversation and as I give some suggestions of tools and insights, I want you to also know that you still carry those things and that's okay. That's beautiful. And that awareness is enormous in your journey. but know that it's not going to be a quick fix. Nothing ever is, right? So just be compassionate with yourself. So let's dive in. Let's talk about what clearing energy really is before we move into everything else that we're going to talk about today. So clearing energy, it's not about getting rid of parts of yourself. It's not about bypassing. It's not about toxic positivity or pretending you're just done with something you're really truly not. I think we all have been in situations where you're like, I'm so done, but energetically you're still very much attached. Clearing energy is about it's about releasing what's complete. So energy tends to linger within our system and within our energetic bodies when something has ended externally but not internally, when a role has dissolved but the nervous system never has really reset. And it's also lingers when growth happens quietly without acknowledgement. So we really need to acknowledge and be aware of what's moving through us and within us and what is still here. Even though the mind psychologically might think we're done with things, energetically we can still have those energetic cords connecting us. And energetic cords, if you're not familiar, I describe them as like fiber optic cables. There's one big round cable and a bunch of little cables within. So it's like taking a great big tube and then sticking a bunch of glow sticks within that big tube, right? As you are more and more familiar with someone, say your brother or sister or family member you've had many years of connection with, that fiber optic cable is going to be rather large. It's going to be pretty solid. And it's probably to the point where you can feel something's off with them without even being in the same room. And whereas someone's energetic cord that you're connecting with maybe at the grocery store and passing is actually quite small because you've only had a very slight energetic exchange. So energetic cords, we have them connected with everyone we've ever come in contact with. And so when our system hasn't disconnected that cord, it's like unplugging the TV from the wall. We're going to continue to have some kind, I'm sorry guys, I can't talk really well today. We're going to have some kind of energetic exchange continuing on until that cord is unplugged. So clearing the nervous system is very much like a nervous system exhale. Your system holds on because it's very loyal. And clearing that energy is simply telling your body that you don't have to hold on to this anymore. So it's a beautiful tool to tap into. And energetic cord clearing, you can do this very simply. I know a lot of people in my world that I've spoken to, myself included, we can go into really large ceremonies to cut cords, or you can do it very simply by just envisioning yourself moving through your body, becoming aware where you feel that person holding on or that person's energy within your energetic body, right? So even if you take a moment right now and you let yourself ground into your seat and then think of the person whose cord you want to cut, and just wherever you sense them, don't overthink it. Just right away, wherever you sense them within your energetic body, just envision yourself taking your hand and unplugging that cord and releasing it with loving kindness. I like to say something along the lines of thank you so much, or, you know, so-and-so, I set you free. And the intention of sending that energy back to them in loving kindness is really the key. At least in my work and what I do, it's sending it back with loving kindness. So-and-so, I set you free. And releasing that cord from your body always seems to amplify the energy restoration within your own body. So that's just a little tool that I like to do as I move through and set my energy for this upcoming year, is really do the housekeeping, right? We sweep out our house, and we put all of our, maybe if we celebrate Christmas, we put the tree away and we get everything ready for the new year. We need to also tend to our energetic body to do that. So looking back, what this past year has really asked from us astrologically has been deeply transitional and internal. So we've really been asked to go deep within ourselves, kind of like a snake shedding its skin. We've been asked to really dive into what's no longer serving our highest and best. And with Pluto continuing its movement into Aquarius, many people have felt a shedding of outdated roles and identities, right? Maybe you no longer feel aligned with your job or who you've been. Maybe you've been a people pleaser and you're taking a stance and saying no more. It's been having an effect on people where we're feeling a growing discomfort with systems that no longer feel aligned. And you can simply look at society right now and see how there is this great shift and growing discomfort with the systems at play right now, and how many people no longer feel aligned with the way things have been for a very, very long time. And there's started to be more of a divide along this way, but I like to think of it more of as a coming into balance. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that shifting within the next year. This past year has also shown up as a really quiet pull towards authenticity over performance, right? That hustle culture is gone. We're not performing for our friends, for our family, for our workplace anymore. We're being authentic. Even if you look at the algorithm on social media, those who are authentic are really driving forward in their accounts, whereas those who are kind of, doing very performative, very inauthentic work seem to be getting bypassed. So, I think overall as a species, we are becoming more and more aware of authenticity and really valuing the real person beneath the masks that we wear each and every day. So this hasn't necessarily, with all that going on, it's not necessarily been a year of visible momentum, but more of a year of reorientation to what's aligned. And, when we think about what this would feel like and what this year has felt like, I feel like this year has been for many a year where we felt really just burnt out, done, tired, no longer willing to push and push and push and go over beyond and above the demands that aren't aligned with us. We're becoming really aware of what no longer is fitting and recognizing that not meeting those demands that cause us to overgive and really put ourselves and our families last, not meeting those things is not failure, but rather intelligence. I really find this interesting because in Chinese astrology, we've been moving through this past year and cycle, which was really associated with the shedding of skins. Like it was the year of the snake. So it's really, if you think about a snake, they shed their skins. And as humans, we've been really shedding our skins, right? In a sense of what we're no longer willing to take on or do, or what masks we're willing to wear in order to fit in or be accepted. We've shed those skins we wore to really please others, and we're finally putting ourselves first. And not necessarily in a selfish way, we're just putting ourselves first for the first time, maybe ever. We're allowing ourselves to also have strategic stillness, right? Meditating more, getting out in nature, allowing ourselves just to rest and allowing ourselves to dive into the depths of what's beneath our own surface. What's been here? What have I been ignoring? I'm no longer willing to sit in this cycle, continue this cycle. I'm not wanting to be in Groundhog Day anymore. I want to break free from these shackles and really transform and step into my most authentic, vibrant self. And so we're finding that the stillness and the inner transformation is really taking forth. And now these kinds of years that we were just in, they don't necessarily reward force, right? There's no forcing our way into tables that don't want us there, or forcing our way through doors that are purposely being shut for us. They reward honestly, they reward authenticity, and they reward alignment. So Years like 2025 that we just went through often feel slow and murky and uncomfortable. And that's not because nothing is happening. There's lots of micro shifts happening, which translate into rather large shifts. But because this work has been deep, it's not been big and flashy. It's been very subtle and under the surface and transformative, but transformative in a way that's going to be sustainable. And you're going to see this really layering up in the next year, and you're going to find that next year is where these breakthroughs occur and happen, which is really exciting, especially considering the year we're moving into. It's going to be really, really fun because 2026 is not, this year ahead isn't necessarily going to be a continuation on of what we've experienced in 2025, but rather a building onto what we have curated in 2025. So what I mean by that is, you think about a house. When you're building a house, you have your foundation. And 2025 was all about digging down into the ground to create that solid foundation. And 2026 is about moving past that threshold and really aligning with authenticity and really building those walls and that home and really making it your own again, letting yourself be seen. When we look into the astrology of 2026, it's really going to be fascinating because Pluto is firmly settled in Aquarius, and it's asking you for authenticity over obligation. So this is a pattern we're seeing again come into this year. And as Saturn moves into Aries, it's going to shift from reflection into responsibility. So now that you've built that foundation, now you're responsible for what you are going to build on top of that foundation. You are going to really have to make conscious decisions in order to create the living space and living conditions you desire. You might be tested, but you have to be able to stay in that alignment and learn from the lessons from this year in order to keep propelling forward. Otherwise, you're going to have this pattern come up and it is going to rock you 10, 20, 100 times harder than what it did in 2025. Neptune is going to begin its transition into Aries, which is going to blend intuition with courage. So, we're going to have this theme of honest movement over waiting. We're no longer waiting. We are taking action. We are moving forward. We are jumping in scared, and we are getting it done. 2026 doesn't reward force, like I said before, but it does reward doing things scared and aligned, right? If we're scared to move forward, that's generally a sign that we are stepping through a threshold that we've been too scared to cross previously. But what's on the other side of fear is generally reward. So stepping into those things that have made us nervous, maybe it's starting your own podcast, maybe it's changing jobs, maybe it's going on a solo trip, whatever that is, doing those things scared anyways. And 2026 is going to be really beautiful for those who do those things. It's going to have the integrity infused within those actions to really bring forth abundance and joy like you've never seen it before. Now, in Chinese astrology, if we look at that for a quick moment, the year of the horse is what 2026 represents. So the horse is going to bring your momentum, your freedom, that forward motion. It's going to bring forward truth that refuses containment, right? So moving out of those shackles, I think I said that before. Moving out of those shackles, breaking free was what 2025 is about, and 2026 is about moving forward. Get it done. Let's go. Start your engine. The horse only runs well when it isn't burdened. So you've hopefully removed those burdens, released those energetic cords, and now you're able to just go. You are going to fly in 2026 if you stay in alignment with yourself, and I'm super excited to see where this year takes so many of us. It feels exciting. There's like this guttural excitement that's brewing and flowing up and out into the world. There's just joy and excitement coming forward for many, many, many of you. So with all this going on, we really need to pay attention to our energy. It really, really matters right now. This year is closing and clearing, and that's so essential, not because something is wrong or something that we've experienced in the past is no longer serving us in the future. No, we need to clear and close this energy so that we can step forward into this new possibility that's coming forward for us. You wouldn't go dance the nutcracker in the snowsuit you wore to the theater. So why would you carry all of the energy and the fragments and filaments and all the things, the gunk that's in your field forward into this next chapter with you if you didn't need it, right? You don't need a snowsuit on stage. You don't need everyone else's gunk up in your space either. So let's talk about clearing our energy, because when we set intentions and clear our energetic field, we're going to be able to move into our goals with more ease. Motivation is going to really come forth. The body is going to find more ease in change and coherence. It's really about creating an internal agreement that allows your nervous system to know that it's safe to move again. It's safe to move into these things that scare us because we are grounded and we are safe and we are supported and we are ready. We are ready for these changes and the abundance that's coming our way. Now, a big component to that is your energy. It's also your nervous system, which I've talked about on a few podcast episodes before this. But today I want to focus more on why energy clearing is really important right now moving into 2026. Because energy isn't something that's abstract. Energy is indestructible. It's the sun, it's the leaves on the trees, it's the clothing you wear, it's your mood. Energy is everything and is everywhere. And it's something that's extremely important to pay attention to, because within this energy is a whole bunch of information. In the energy within and around you, you can almost read it like a book, because it collects all of the sum of your experiences, your emotions, your beliefs, your survival strategies, the things that you've witnessed. It's all moving through your energetic body, through your nervous system, through your tissues, through your breath, and where you put your attention, right? Your conscious and subconscious all carry the energetic frequency of those things that you experience in your life. It's like a Rolodex of what you've been through in your life, what you've learned to do in order to stay safe, what your nervous system has adapted to do over time, and what's never truly been processed or metabolized or released because you've held on to it so tightly within that energetic body without probably even knowing. Energy unreleased can become dense, not because something's wrong, but because something made sense at the time, and that's continued to hold in truth within your body because it's almost been imprinted within you. Kind of like when you experience something and then you expect it to happen again and again and again and again because of this one time you went to the beach and a seagull took your french fries. So now every time you go to the beach, you expect a seagull to take your french fries, so you're extra cautious. That's kind of the way in which your energy body works. It's always on guard. So when we want to recalibrate our patterning and allow ourselves to not go to the beach and fear for our precious french fries. That might not have been the best example, but I think you know what I'm saying. When we want to make a shift within our physical, mental, emotional world, we have to also take into account our energetic body. So clearing energy, it's not about erasing the past, right? We still know that there's a good chance that we could go to the beach and have our french fries taken, but we're going to also be able to go to the beach, get those fries, and not be on edge. So it's really like a system upgrade, or updating rather. So when we look at the energetic residue of the past year, right? It was a year of compression. We're having heavier emotions. We're having less tolerance for noise, chaos, or misalignment. We're maybe having this sense of feeling full or saturated or heavy. We're having heightened nervous system sensitivity as a whole. So this past year has really asked us to slow down and reassess how feelings and things we experience or previously bypassed are now needing to be released, and how they are no longer needing to be carried into the next year. So, astrologically and energetically, 2025 was all about integration rather than expansion, and it's pulled up unprocessed material into the surface of your energetic body, not to necessarily overwhelm us, but to allow us to acknowledge it and have compassion there and complete the cycle so that we don't have to feel tired. We don't have to feel this weakness of carrying all these different backpacks of emotions and unprocessed energy in our body and around our body, so we can finally clear it out, put those backpacks down, and skip into the next year. So when our energy isn't cleared out, we might still carry in all the things that we've experienced this year, but we would feel it compact. So it's going to continue to build on. So we need to clear it out so that our energy body and our nervous system is able to find ease. If we don't clear the energy out, our nervous system might feel braced, on edge still. Our intuition may become harder to hear, right? Multiple different factors playing in, which kind of clogs up the intuition pipelines. By clearing out the energy, you're clearing out the pipes so you can really tune into yourself a little bit easier. Your forward motion might feel really forced or effortful to move forward when that energy body has not been cleared. However, when it is cleared, which I love to talk about, the body, it's almost like it just exhales. When I'm working one-on-one with clients, they'll come in for an energetic session and we'll clear out their energetic body, and they could lay down at the beginning of their session and just have their foot continuously tapping. Maybe they're in tears because they're just so at capacity, they don't even know what to do. Maybe their breath is trapped high up in the chest. And when they sit up at the end of the session after we've cleared their energy, they feel like they can just breathe. It's like their whole body exhales. Their eyes are clearer. Their emotions are regulated and stabilized. And they're able to tune in and make decisions with much more clarity and assuredness because they can hear their own thoughts and intuitive guidance. So clearing creates coherence within the mind, body, soul, and spirit. And it really tells the system that it's safe to release what's no longer present. So today I wanted to go into a little bit of an exercise with you as this year closes, as we know that it is essential to clear our energetic field, not because something's wrong, but just because we need to be able, and we deserve to be able to have that coherence and ease within us. So today, if you are sitting, allow yourself to get comfy, cozy. Maybe plant your feet on the floor if you're sitting on a chair, or if you're driving, just allow yourself to really notice your toes for a minute, or maybe your seat. If you have the ability, you can bring your hand to the chest or one to the belly or both. And just take a deep breath in if it's accessible, or just a normal breath is perfect. And just allow that breath to come out, letting your shoulders soften, maybe giving that jaw a rock left and right. Maybe inviting the eyes, if you are not driving, to close. And just be present with yourself for a moment. Maybe quietly asking, what's ready to be completed? What cycle am I closing out this year? And then allow yourself to continue to move that breath through your body, just noticing where it lies. Is it high up in the chest? Is it down in the belly? And seeing if you can expand that breath even into that back body. Moving that breath to the back body and then out to the sides like an accordion. Really allowing that jaw to find softness as you bring into your mind's eye that cycle that's ready to release. And taking that next moment to envision a broom forming over the top of your head. And just clearing and sweeping from the crown to the toes your energetic body. So sweeping out, your guides maybe are sweeping out your energetic field around the crown of your head, down to around the head itself, around the eyes and the back of the head, maybe around the jaw. And just letting that sweep all the way down the neck, the shoulders, down the arms and the chest and back body, all the way down the torso, the pelvis and hips, down the legs, and just continuing to sweep that energy out through the feet. And then envision your hands coming up, or even bringing your hands up in front of you. And that cycle that you're ready to leave behind is represented by an orb or whatever object you'd like. Maybe a balloon or a feather. Whatever resonates with you, imagine that being in your hands, representing that cycle you're ready to release. And when you're ready, taking a great big intentional breath, opening your hands and exhale, giving a blow, letting that object float away from the body with the intention of I let go. I let go. And maybe if it feels right for you, envisioning yourself holding scissors in your hand and giving a cut, a final cut. Ooh, the voice is going. A final cut to that energetic cord that connected you to what it was you were letting go, and give a snip. Maybe bringing a gentle smile onto the face as that object floats away, until you can no longer see it. And then allowing this bright light to come down from the crown all the way down to the toes, illuminating every single cell of the body with this warmth, this support, and this safety, invigorating every piece of you, encouraging you. It's like you have your own cheerleader just cheering you on, congratulating you on this next chapter you're about to enter in 2026. Bringing the hands to the heart. And just bringing forth maybe the intention of I'm open to what's to come. I fully trust what's coming forth for me in this new year. Allowing the body to take a nice big breath in. And just noticing what's here. Sometimes it doesn't feel always light or joyful, so just noting. Being honest with what's arising. Sometimes it just feels quiet or neutral. Sometimes it feels spacious. It's not emptiness, that's availability. That's space where intuition can come in, space where regulation is stabilizing. So as you move forward into the energetic threshold of, or across the energetic threshold of 2026, we're moving from internal reorganization to outward embodied motion. And with Pluto firmly settled into Aquarius, the collective is being asked to live from authenticity rather than obligation. Saturn and Neptune are moving into Aries, bringing courage, initiation, and action. But action that is rooted in truth not urgency. And energetically, 2026 is going to amplify whatever is already present. So, being really open and honest and aware of what is here. And remembering that if your system is cluttered, 2026 might feel a little bit overwhelming. But if space has been made, it can feel energized and clear. And this is why clearing is what matters now. So if you would like to dive in and really get clear, energetically speaking, and maybe uh, mentally speaking as well, you can check out some more meditations, clearings, and activations on my YouTube page. You can find me at Healing with Sarah. And there's many free videos that you can listen to. And as we close out this last podcast of 2025, I want to send you all the blessings. I really want you to know the year ahead isn't asking you to become someone new. It's asking you to arrive in who you are. And as this year closes and the next cycle approaches with movement, truth, and momentum, may you give yourself permission to clear gently, honestly, and without urgency. Remember, space is not emptiness, it's readiness. Have a great day.